Alright, how's it going everyone? Today we're going to be doing a throttle body bypass. What this means is that the cooling system typically routes through your throttle body, and what this allows for is if you live in a colder climate where it snows, it warms up your throttle body so that you don't have to worry about your throttle sticking open and whatnot. If you live in like a tropical climate like I do, I live in Hawaii, the coldest weather we see is like 50 degrees, and that's pretty much nothing compared to like an actual winter in the mainland. So for me personally, it's not really necessary to have the coolant flowing through the intake, and actually it adds to heat soak, so your engine will actually lose power as you're feeding hot air into the intake, which is kind of counterproductive if you're trying to make like good power. So I'm going to be bypassing it. Do this at your own risk. I don't recommend doing it if you're not sure exactly if you should or not. This is completely on you if you decide to, but I'm just going to show you how to do it if you decide to want to do it. Again, if you live anywhere that snows or gets below like 50 degrees Fahrenheit, probably don't want to do this, just because you do risk the throttle body freezing, and then like I said, it could cause your car not to start, or when you're driving to stick the throttle open, and that's not so good. So to do this, all you got to do is find out where your coolant hose is going. So one comes from the back right here, goes through this tube, goes into the bottom, and you can see right in there, it goes into this block, and then across the block, and then back through and right to here. So what you're going to do is get some coolant line. I'm actually using fuel line, which I guess it's fine if you're using fuel line for coolant, but you never want to use coolant line for fuel. At least that's the way I looked it up online, and that's what everyone was saying not to do. So I have some fuel line, I'm going to use this, but if you have access to coolant line, that's probably what you want to use. This is 5/16, I believe, so that's what I'm going to be using. But yeah, also it's a good idea to burp your cooling system again after you're done doing this, just because you might be adding some air to the system. So I'm going to be burping my cooling system again. But also when you pull these lines off, it's probably are going to drip some coolant, so might want to stick some rags in here and whatnot to catch it. But yeah, so it looks like 4 clips, so 1, 2, 3, and then this one back here might be a little tricky. I'm probably going to disconnect this one first, pull it out of the way, and there's another clip back there 4. Pull these 2 lines off, and I'm just going to run one from right there underneath the throttle body directly here, and that just eliminates the hot air going into the intake. Okay, so just a little bit of an update for you guys on the throttle body bypass. So obviously you don't want anything getting in your throttle body, so keep that area clean. But here's the 2 nozzles. As you see, coolant's coming out of it because there obviously is coolant flowing through there usually. Now they sell like little caps that you can slide on there if you want to be like professional, or you can take like a small piece and just loop it. There's really no reason, you can just leave it open honestly if you wanted to. I'm probably going to invest in some caps and just cap them off. It honestly does nothing, you can leave it open like that if you really want to. I'm probably going to leave it open for right now just because I don't have the caps, but I will buy some caps and just slide them on there. Anyway, this is the new line that I have on here. As you see, it connects right down there. I'm going to loop it underneath the throttle body and connect it right here. And then you successfully bypassed your throttle body. So now you actually have cool air coming into your engine, and you'll have better horsepower. Okay, so I just got my throttle body bypass complete. This is it completed right here. Now keep in mind that now that you have a little bit extra hose right here, and it's not as like like fine tucked, you might have a little bit of a trickier time putting the intake on. You just got to push this down when you put the intake on. Now obviously you could probably cut the hose shorter and run it across right here, but you run risk of kinking this, and that's why I didn't want to do, because you don't want to kink it. You still need coolant to flow through here, so I did a little bit longer. So whenever you want to put your intake on, just push this down and slide the intake on. I don't recommend putting this hose underneath this one, just because it's closest to the serpentine belt. You don't want it to rub on top of it. This one right here is already pretty close to it, and yes, I know it's rusty. I will be replacing this relatively soon. Anyway, that's pretty much it. As you can see, got a clamp down there and a clamp on top. Make sure you replace, well, not replace, but actually put the clamps back on, that way the hose doesn't pop off. And like I said before, I'm gonna get some little caps to put on top of there just so it looks nicer. Thought I'd throw this extra bit in there for you guys, in case you haven't seen my coolant change video. Once you get everything put back together, obviously it's not 100%, but this is what I usually do to check everything before putting it all back together. You want to check your clearance underneath here, make sure that nothing's touching the the top pulley. Make sure, you know, everything, all the clearance wise, nothing's rubbing. Once that's good, well, before you even start it, I usually hook this little adapter on and pour it full of coolant. If you don't have one of these, they're not too expensive at your local auto parts store. Fill it with coolant, start the car, wait for it to get all the way up to operating temp, which is right there. It'll take a couple minutes, but then once it is, go ahead and careful, because it's going to be hot, just squeeze it a couple times and make sure there's no air bubbles in there. You have to wait until the thermostat opens. You'll know because this line will get really hot. That's when the thermostat is open. Squeeze it a couple times, let it go. If you see any like bubbles or whatever, that's good. That means all the air is purging out of the system. Once you stop seeing bubbles like I do, you should be good. It comes with one of these little sticks. Obviously you want to make sure it's clean. Make sure there's nothing on it. And then you just go ahead and push it all the way down, which stops it. It'll like peg it so that it won't let any more fluid in or out. And then you can shut the car off. I'd usually wait for it to cool down, and then you can disconnect it. I wrap around towels underneath here too, because when you disconnect it, there will be some coolant that falls down, so wrap some towels around it, take this off, and then you can move the thing over to the bucket, unplug this, and all the extra coolant will go back into the bottle. So that's what I normally do. But yeah, if this video was helpful, leave a like. If you have any questions, comment below. If you're new here and you like this kind of content, this is a lot of my content on this channel. BH platform Genesis Sedan and modifications. Definitely subscribe. I have more helpful content coming out, and if you are, you know, just looking for helpful content in general, check out my channel. You might find some videos on there that might be helpful for you in the future. Anyway, so I appreciate you guys checking out the video. Have a good day.